asked my audience to send in their craziest stories from when they were at school, and I've read the subjects of some of them, and from what I can tell, these are going to be pretty mad. Okay, this one's just titled The Stapler Incident. We were in our computer science class about to end. Teacher gets an email and shares it to class. Not sure if there's much more I could say to this email, just bizarre. Let's read this email. Very short but sweet story. To teaching staff. Sorry for the mass spam, but if you teach the above, you might want to put any staplers out of reach. I'm reliably informed, although I politely declined to watch the video evidence, that I'm guessing this is a retracted name, stapled his scrotum to a desk this morning with retracted stapling his own nipple as a follow-up. As a follow-up act. To be honest, mate, I don't think, unless you staple your cock to the table, I don't think you're topping someone stapling his scrotum to the desk. What's going on at this school? I've confiscated the stapler. I used gloves. It has a white sticker with Joe on it. If it's yours, drop by my office to claim. I've also warned both boys about the potential for ruptured sperm ducts, tetanus, and septicemia. However, they both seem keen to find another stapler and continue their investigations, vowing to do so at the earliest opportunity. 7 lessons to go. What is wrong with these kids? Like, even when confronted by a teacher about it, they just want to staple more body parts to desks. What is going on at this school? This one's titled Main Character Pisses Himself. Oh, George, do I have the perfect story for you? When I was in school, there was this foreign exchange student that we'll call Daniel. Daniel was not very popular, but still acted like he was the main character. Very annoying. One day, our school introduced this policy where we could not go to the bathroom during lessons, as there had been a run of graffiti in the boys' bathroom. I feel as though that's just like one of those rules that you just can't enforce, because what if someone's like busting for a piss? Or what if someone has diarrhea? You gotta let them go to the bathroom. It's their human right. I think. I don't know. I haven't read the Bill of Human Rights before. During one of our German lessons, Daniel puts his hand up and asks if he can go to the toilet. My sweet old teacher explains to Daniel, despite her not trying to make him uncomfortable, she cannot let him go to the toilet due to the new rule. Daniel takes this opportunity to do what every main character says they would do when being denied allowed to go to the bathroom. This guy stands up, undoes his flies, and begins to urinate all over the desk in front of him. A girl who was sat nearby was the first to realise him doing this and quickly ran away to the other side of the room screaming. The whole class suddenly goes quiet and all we can hear is his stream against the desk. Everyone is staring at Daniel. Daniel is staring right at the little German teacher who is flabbergasted. Once he finishes, he zips his trousers back up and leaves the classroom. Our teacher calmly tells everyone to leave the classroom. After this, Daniel got suspended and his parents, who were abroad as he was an exchange student, had to come and pick him up. Ah, silly Daniel. I thought when you said main character pisses himself, I thought you meant he like embarrassed himself. Like he pissed himself and everyone was like, we don't like that guy anyway, and he pissed himself. We can make fun of him now. I didn't expect him to get up on the desk and piss. Just get his cock out and piss. We had a trainee PE teacher at our school for a bit who tried so hard to be a lad it was painful to watch, as well as projecting weird underlying sexist undertones from what I remember, like not letting me carry the equipment because it was a man's job. So it was quite a surprise that when he left that he appeared on Love Island. At the time, I found out through watching Will and James watch Love Island, which provided a great way to watch him humiliate himself. What's worse is that the school principal had to put out a statement due to the press harassment, I assume, that he was in fact not a qualified PE teacher and that he had lied. Nothing was more satisfying than seeing him be so greatly unliked online and in the villa. Bonus points if you can guess who it was. I'm sure there's loads of PE teachers that have been on Love Island. It's a classic career progression. PE teacher, Love Island, teeth whitening salesman. Yeah, there's 2 people who seem to have been PE teachers on Love Island. This guy called Kai Fagan and this guy called Hugo Hammond. I don't know which one it was. But also, I feel as though the bit where you say he's not a qualified PE teacher, that should have been on the school to like check that. The downfall of the substitute teacher. Okay, so this is actually terrible and showcases the actual brutality of children in English schools. We had a religion teacher in year 8 and she was really nice, young and a bit inexperienced. And so they decided to torment her. She came in one day and someone had stolen her lanyard with the door locking thingy on it. And someone on the outside locked the door with a key unbeknownst to this woman. I was a little neat back in the day, so I was paid £10 to be quiet. Who pays you £10 to be quiet? £10 is like £1,000 in school. Who the fuck gave you £10? I'm at this point, I don't believe this story. I don't believe you were paid £10 to be quiet. You were paid hush money. I just don't believe that. Like, What child would give you £10 to be quiet? The bell rings for the end of the lesson and the teacher is unable to let us go. She's panicking a bit because she doesn't know the phone number for the office to let her out. The 13-year-old delinquents proceed to make a shame circle around this woman, chanting wanker, 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 hand movements and everything. It got to the point where she was curled on the floor crying. She ended up being rescued by the head teacher and ended up having a mental breakdown. She never taught again. I bought 7 packs of rainbow laces and a Yahoo. Do you mean Yazoo, not Yahoo? But there are so many signs that this story is just fake. I don't believe this story one bit. That's bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Stolen toilets. Hi George, this story happened a few years ago when I was in about year 10 or 11. I used to know guys who would get up to a lot of chaotic shit. One time one of the guys brought in a multi-tool and they started taking apart everything in the toilet. It was like a heist out of GTA Online. They took apart the entire cubicle, separating it from the toilet and the rest of the bathroom. It was small with a single toilet and a couple urinals, and eventually managed to take off the bolts holding the toilet to the ground. Eventually the whole bathroom was boarded off and we assumed the reason was because it got dismantled. Some months later when we were preparing for our GCSEs, my chemistry teacher explained why that toilet was eventually boarded off. I can't quite remember how he got onto the topic. It turns out some kid decided it'd be a good idea to poo down the hole right beneath where the toilet was, even though that's not where the sewage went. So he took off the toilet and shat down the hole that was left by the missing toilet. And there was another set of toilets right at the bottom of the stairs nearby. As the teacher explained, I was sat next to one of the guys from that group who was in my class, and the task of trying to hold in our laughter was probably more difficult than the GCSEs that were to come. The raw squid incident. During year 11 at school, a really prominent couple broke up overnight out of nowhere and everyone was really shocked. Was this like the Molly May, Tommy Fury of your school? Is this a common thing? Like a couple breaks up at school and everyone's shocked? I don't remember anyone ever caring about stuff like this when I was at school. The following morning after the first lesson of the day, he takes a raw fucking squid out of his bag. Where did he get a raw squid from? And throws it at her head. Her hair is smeared with squid juice and the fucking squid just flops down on the pavement where everyone is walking. Where did he get a squid from? That's the big question. She appropriately freaks the fuck out. Her mum picks her up from school and immediately tells the school that she had an emergency dentist appointment that she had to get to. Best part is the girl comes back an hour later with her hair perfectly washed and just attends the rest of her classes as if nothing had happened. If that were me, if I'd had a squid thrown at my head, I'd use that as an excuse to take the week off school. I'd be, oh no, I'm too... To be fair, I would be. Squids are terrifying. I'm going to pull up a picture. I mean, you all know what a squid looks like, but I'm just going to pull up a picture of a squid to really ingrain it in your mind how terrifying a squid actually is. Like, look at them. They're fucked. That's fucked. No, I would be traumatized by that. I would take a week off school. Teacher sex swinger school scandal. Amazing alliteration. So this happened 2 years ago when I was in high school. I have since graduated, but the story was a big scandal here. Sorry it's long, but there was so much to it. I went to the same school district for all my years. I was in high school 10th grade when this incident occurred in the elementary school 3rd to 5th grade. My gym teacher from the time there years earlier, who I had hated since 5th grade because he told me to shut up and yelled at me for doing push-ups wrong, and the principal of the school, who was also a swim teacher when I was younger, were having an affair for several years and would have sexual encounters on school grounds, in her office and the bathrooms, and record it. What, in the school? You can't record porn in the school, especially when you're the fucking head teacher. The gym teacher's wife, who was also a teacher at the school, found out and started to get involved by watching them have sex and recording them. I would have thought she'd be mad at that. I was about to be like, oh yeah, you know, they're going to get their comeuppance. They're going to get caught, because of course they are. Why would you cheat on your wife in the same building as she works? But no, she's getting... This is fucked. The principal then suspected that another teacher was having sexual relations with the gym teacher, and after she would like to join a group of swingers that were throughout our school system. Oh my god, yeah, no, that's... You can't have that as a school, a place of teaching children. After everything came out due to suspicions, a police investigation had to take place since this all took place around a building full of children. And somehow the document got out to the public, so everyone read the police report and found out everything that had been going on. Come to find out, there has been a group of swingers through the schools involved in this scandal all these years, and it was only revealed after all this took place. I live in a place where everyone knows everything. Our schools ended up on several news stations and articles, and there was no going back. The main three involved all resigned, and no one has heard a word about it since. We would get in trouble for discussing it on school grounds while it all took place. Of course you're going to talk about it on school grounds. A fucking swinging gang in the school. Of course you're going to talk about it. That's the funniest thing ever. I'm so glad to be graduated now and out of that place. Yeah, I bet you are. The swinging teacher sex cave. $2,000 mufti day scam. George, I got an absolute ripper of a story for you. I love that turn of phrase. Ripper of a story. I'm excited to hear this ripper of a story. When I was in year 10, some prefect gets up on stage to talk about a charity that he himself had founded. Gives this big speech about it, paired with a PowerPoint presentation, including photos of him meeting celebrities, including Michelle Obama, ending with an announcement that the school was hosting a gold coin mufti day to support his charity. The plot twist, the charity doesn't exist and never did. This geezer made the entire thing up, and the $2,000 raised went straight into the bloke's bank account. This only got discovered the year after he graduated. Man, his shit. Don't know how he got away with it. What a legend. Fucking hell. Oh, that is funny. That is funny. I mean, it's bad. I would say he stole from charity. There was never a charity to begin with. But it's just hijinks, isn't it? Like, he saw an opportunity and he took it. And fair enough to him. The Great Piss War at my school. Okay, so while I was at school, I was in sixth form. The students were banned from having more than one person at a time each class using the toilets as they kept getting destroyed. So the students rioted. It was a fucking disaster, George. It was a sunny day. Rumors have flown about the local Facebook page. Parents not letting their kids in for the day, outraged at the new policy and scared for their children's lives. The day begins, nothing too drastic yet. Things seem normal. It was all a hoax. However, come just after break, it was like playing Fallout. Students were dousing the halls in piss with spray bottles. Okay, that's a bit dramatic. Students were dousing the halls in piss with stray bottles from the original source, and I fucking kid you not, a little gremlin of a kid shat on the floor and I saw someone fall over due to slipping on it. Then, cue the angry parents. They storm into reception requesting their children, truly enraged by the activities of the day, which was now covered in piss and bleach. What school do you go to creating fucking gas throughout the building? And so with that, sixth formers were told to go home early to avoid any further hassle. That day will live with me forever, and I still talk about it with my mates when we reminisce over the good old days. Your school stories are a lot more dramatic than mine, Jesus. Okay, so this one's just titled Confess. In year 8, there was this innocent kid. Guy believed in Santa and everything and has heart problems. I broke the fact that Santa didn't exist to him in a random chemistry lesson. That's horrible, man. That's fucking evil. Don't do that. That's evil, man. Let him enjoy Christmas. Which made him go into some sort of heart problem. Later on in the year, me and my boy were in a back room in computer science with him and showed him porn for the first time, which caused him to cry and gave me a week after school. That's fucking horrible. You're horrible for that. When I was in year 9, a bunch of kids in my class developed an obsession for putting pens and stuff up and around their arsehole and then throwing it around the classroom. It got to a point where you couldn't pick anything up off the floor in our lessons because it was probably contaminated. I'm not even exaggerating. They would throw around paper planes that had, oh mate, that had brown tips from where they had shoved it up their arses. Let me guess, you went to an all-boys school. Oh, I went to a grammar school, by the way. Yeah, I could have guessed. They even did it with some volcanic rock that we were looking at in geography, and they managed to get our teacher to smell it and agree that you could still smell the sulfur. It wasn't sulfur, it was shit. Oh, fucking hell. Fucking hell. Mr. H and his weird bathroom picture. We had this supply teacher, Mr. H, in our high school who was a bit rough looking. A bit creepy. Everyone has had one of those teachers. He looked kind of like Peter Pettigrew. A bunch of students would torment to make fun of him, mainly because he was a sub, but also because he was a little weird looking. British kids plus weird looking supply equals disaster waiting to happen. I totally agree. Anyway, someone searched his name into Google looking for ammunition, I guessed. A Facebook profile, a dating profile, anything. Instead, what this person found was Mr. H sitting on a toilet, backwards or facing the wall, but with his face facing the camera as he was pretty much nude except for those white tighty whitey type briefs, which by the way were dirty like skid marks and shit and looked like a nappy diaper for Americans. It looked like some weird porno kink thing. It spread quickly around the school. Other teachers saw it, students, everyone saw it, which provided even more ammunition against Mr. H. Obviously, what I have to ask, why would you become a teacher if you knew this sort of stuff was out about you on the internet? Which then stirred a rumor that this photo was taken because Mr. H was into being bullied and degraded. I mean, supply teacher's the perfect job then. Science teacher and the foreskin eating mishap. I love how some of these are written like fucked up Harry Potter titles, like science teacher and the foreskin eating mishap. What was the other one we had a few minutes ago? Mr. H and his weird bathroom picture. But anyway, science teacher and the foreskin eating mishap. When I was at secondary school, I found a suspicious pair of scissors on the floor outside of class that looked like they would be used for a circumcision. Yeah, how do you know what circumcision scissors look like? I guess he said he's a circumcision expert. So naturally, being the idiot child I was, I joked around that I would cut someone's foreskin off with them. Later in a science lesson, I decided to write a fake legal document for someone to sign as they were jokingly agreeing for me to cut their foreskin off. It was all going well until my science teacher, who already had a disliking for me before this incident, I couldn't imagine why. You seem like an extremely likable child, an ideal child to teach, tries to take the note away from me as I had wrote on the back of the work we were doing at the time. Obviously, I tried to do anything but give give him the note, as I'm not letting some poor diabetic 50-year-old man read a note from a 15-year-old boy threatening another student to eat their foreskin. The note contained quite a lot of graphic details. So the reason then turned into an hour of the teacher trying anything he can to convince me to give him the note, me obviously not budging. Eventually, I got tired of everything and just let him have the now half ripped up note. He then silently read the note in his head in front of the entire class, a look of pure horror on his face. I'm guessing this is supposed to say lesson. The lesson then ended without him speaking to me again. The next day, I was taken out of my classes by student support who must have been called after the first lesson. I had to explain to the woman who took me out of class that I did not want to eat the other student's foreskin and that it was a joke. A poor woman asked me a lot of questions and looked genuinely concerned for my mental well-being. Yeah, I wonder why. It didn't help that they had apparently called my mum about the incident as well. That was difficult to explain. I also shit myself on a beach once during lockdown. Well, that's nice. That's a nice little ending to this story. A nice little footnote. Well, that's all the stories we have for today. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more videos like this or more like different types of stories. And yeah, like and subscribe.